Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us for this webinar. As you all know, I'm Megan Twentyman, the brand manager here at SofSolutions, and the topic of today's webinar is to look at all the updates and changes that are happening, because there's a lot of them. StartUP is a part of that. The partner portal keeps getting updated, so we're going to run through those changes, and of course we will be happy to answer any questions that you have at the end. If you have questions as we go along, please just throw them into the questions. You've got the little question mark there. Now on the call with me today is Anisha, who is our new technical specialist, and I'm really happy to say that Anisha's just completed her advanced certification for 3CX, and she will be running our 3CX technical trainings later this quarter. So welcome Anisha, we're glad to have you on board.
Hi everyone, lovely to meet you. I'm Anisha and I'm looking forward to working with you all.
Awesome, thanks Anisha. So we'll get cracking through the webinar, and Anisha will join me at the end for any questions that you may have. So quick rundown of what we're going to run over today. We're going to look at the products and the changes that are happening. There's a quick recap on StartUP, partner portal updates, resources, and keeping up to date. And I'm going to try and stick to our bite-sized format, but it might be slightly longer because there's a lot happening at the moment, as you will have seen in our VoIP newsletter. So what do we know about the products? Okay, there are going to be two free options. So there's going to be StartUP free, which will be the cloud native solution. You won't be able to attach SIP phones to that. It'll be for headsets only. And then we're going to have a dedicated free, which was the standard for simultaneous call. It will remain as a for simultaneous call license. It will have 2 months of free hosting by 3CX, or you can DIY or bring your own hosting right from the outset. So whilst the instance will be free, you will have hosting charges to consider when you're using those licenses. Standard licenses will no longer be sold, so they are no longer available to be sold as new licenses. You will still be able to renew those licenses on both perpetual and annual subscriptions. We are expecting a price increase from the middle of August. We don't have that new pricing yet, but it is coming, so be aware of that. I'm guessing kind of 20%ish, but I don't actually know yet. So in terms of the paid licenses that are available, there'll be the StartUP Pro 10 or 20, and that is per user, not per simultaneous call. What we do now know is that the margins on StartUP Pro will be as per the partner program. So as per your partner level will be your discount level. They have tweaked that StartUP Pro pricing slightly, and we're not going to make that live in our systems until the product goes into live production. At the moment, it is still a beta. We'll have the dedicated Pro or professional license, the dedicated enterprise license. There will no longer be any perpetual licenses available for purchase. There were a handful of enterprise perpetual licenses that could still be purchased for the last couple of years, but those are going away. For any customers that are on perpetual, whatever edition, there is still the option to trade in and get a free year on annual subscription, which I guess rewards them for having their licensing. I'd strongly encourage you to get people off perpetual licenses. It's been obvious for over 4 years now that they are moving away from those perpetual licenses, and the trade-in is a good way of doing that. And yes, I know it affects your partner revenue, but it does need to be done at some point, so keep spacing those out and get those done. So just a quick recap on StartUP. They call it their new frontier. The key thing there is that it is a cloud native solution, and it is going to be able to be used as a shared instance. It is completely managed by 3CX, so you really can't control anything in the back end of the solution, but there's a lot of feature-rich features that are coming into StartUP, and it will be a really good option for small businesses. The official go live will be in September. We don't have an exact date, and if you recall, the beta sort of dropped in May. We've had a second beta in July. What we were told initially is that it could not be migrated to a dedicated environment, but there's been a couple of updates, and we'll look at that in the roadmap as well. So in terms of you as a partner, what are the benefits of StartUP? The key thing is that they've made it simpler. It frees up your time and your team's resources. It'll be an annual revenue. With the Pro 10 or 20, it allows for what's called DIY or bring your own supported SIP trunk and IP phones. So you will be able to add IP phones to those professional paid solutions of StartUP. And that gives you more revenue streams as well. As I said, the margins will be as per the partner program. The idea is that it is simplifying it for you, for those smaller customers, and allowing you to focus on your larger customers that will need those dedicated instances. So in terms of pricing, what we know so far is that 3CX sent out an announcement that there would be price changes and that the introductory version 18 pricing would be going away. That affects a number of currencies, but not the USD. Our New Zealand dollar pricing is all based off USD retail, and that USD is not changing except for standard licenses. So professional and enterprise, we expect to stay the same. The only variation is the exchange rate, and as we know, the NZD is very weak at the moment. Hopefully that will improve as the year goes on, we can only hope, which will make it better for all of you. As I mentioned, standard renewals for perpetual and annual subscription will increase. I don't have that, as I said, I guesstimate around 20%, but we'll wait and see. As soon as we have that, we will make that available. If you have any standard renewal licenses coming up, you can do those early. So don't hesitate to contact our team and do them, I would say, by the 9th of August. So the new pricing comes into effect on the 10th of August in Cyprus. So that'll be late on the 10th our time. Hosted by 3CX, which was launched in Australasia earlier this year, the pricing has increased. We are waiting on confirmation of margins around this. So we understand there is going to be some tiered margins, but we don't have that information yet. So we're still waiting for that to come. They've also taken away the 12 months free hosted at outset, and that is now just 2 months. So you've got 2 months for free, and then you need to pay for the hosting. That hosted by 3CX is out of Volta, which have servers in Sydney and Melbourne. And anybody that's on a hosted by 3CX plan, they will continue with their 12-month free. So anybody that signed up and has it for the 12 months, they're not going to take that away. It will continue. So don't panic about that. Just be aware that when it comes to a conclusion, you will need to obviously pay for that. Trials. So there are changes coming to the trials. It's not fully confirmed yet. What we know is that there will be startup free and dedicated for simultaneous call free, which is the old standard for simultaneous calls, so they'll still be available. Startup Pro customers must be linked to a partner to access the full feature set. So Startup Free, they don't need to be, but anybody with Startup Pro needs to be linked to a partner before they can do anything. Final details are coming of the proof of concept. So I have heard rumours of what's going to happen, but I'm not going to announce those until we know 100%. But we believe that the proof of concept will continue, probably have a slightly tweaked name, but you will be able to test out the dedicated instances with your customers ahead of purchase. So RoadMap, what we know so far. So one key thing that we heard when StartUP was first announced was that if you were on StartUP, you were on StartUP. If you're on dedicated, you were on dedicated. And one of my questions was, if you had 19 staff and there was a possibility you were going to add 2 more, why would you go down the startup path if there was no migration to dedicated? In the latest roadmap, it has been indicated that they're making some under the hood changes between update 4, which has just gone live, and all the way through to update 6, which will actually make it possible for customers to migrate across. So more to come. I don't know any full details. It's all in roadmap stage, but that is very promising. I think that's a really good thing that's going to occur. So update 4 went live last week. So that's for the dedicated, plus StartUP got a refresh as well. So it's still in beta. But for update 4 for version 18 for dedicated, they brought in the new receptionist view to enable easier handling of calls from the web client and the desktop app. Better app audio quality, which they've been working hard in the background on. They've taken the ability for office hours to be set out of the management console and into the app so that staff can configure their hours, so that if they work funny shift work hours or anything like that, they can be configured. I understand that will also hybrid back into the management console down the track, but again, we're waiting to see what happens there. Live chat changes have come in to align with the live chat startup changes. So there were some quite urgent updates that needed to happen. And if you've got any queries about that, we can point you to the right blog. And of course, like all updates, there were the normal tweaks and updates and bug fixes and all those kind of things that happened. But as you know, version 18 is an incredibly stable version of the solution. So what do we know about what's coming? So update 5 is being cooked up now. So update 4 is live, so they're working on update 5, and it's summer over in Cyprus, so this is their major development time. SSM and MMS improvements, or it should be SMS, sorry, bit of a typo there. We hope to announce a New Zealand service for this very soon. That is going to be available in both StartUP and in dedicated, so that's pretty exciting. There's WhatsApp integration coming, so lots of people use WhatsApp. Being able to hook that in and connect it up will be really, really useful, and that's purely because the API has been made available to developers now, so 3CX have jumped on that. There's a new live chat user interface coming soon, so really interested to see what that looks like. So when that does go into beta, it will be really good to test that on your test systems and give constructive feedback, because as you know, user interfaces can cause all sorts of dramas for customers. And of course, there'll be all the tweaks and updates. We expect to see a user interface change on the web client between update 5 and 6 as well. So a lot of people weren't happy with the web client when it first came out, but we've all got used to it, and it was just, we were used to things being on the right and they were on the left, traditional, like all other software applications. So we'll see what's coming next. And then in terms of update 6, as I mentioned, they're paving the way for some web client improvements, normal tweaks and updates. StartUP and group mode will be coming in, so that's the ability to separate users and groups and apply different settings. The example given in the roadmap was different time zones, and you can apply those to each specific group, and 3CX are actually testing that out themselves. So that's really promising. Update 7 and beyond, well, we'll all have to wait and see. You can be assured that they will be thinking further ahead. Even now, they're always looking for the next innovation. So what's gone away? This is always important. Key one there, mobile apps now only work with version 18. Version 16 is no longer supported. The instance manager, you'll see I've popped this in red. So this is a key change. The instance manager came in with version 16, and its purpose was for monitoring and mass updates of the Linux-based systems. It could never manage the Windows-based systems. In update 4 for version 18, they have brought out this new functionality to set updates to install automatically 1 month after release. So that's allowing a bedding in time for an update. And really what 3CX have said is that monitoring, there are so many products that do this better. Most MSPs and IT partners are using some kind of monitoring tool. If you need a good one, reach out to SofSol. I'm sure we can help you there. 3CX need to focus on their core purpose, which is around the communications product and that type of thing. And by introducing that automatic update feature, that allows you to keep your customers up to date and be assured that it's going to be after an update has been well and truly bedded in. So highly recommend that new feature. 3CX website, they've updated the partner listings. So we've had kind of ugly little map things that just didn't really work for people. Now they've got an easy search function for each specific country. what I do recommend is log into your partner portal, navigate to my account, and check all your details are correct. Check your addresses, check you've uploaded your logo. All those kind of things, are really important housekeeping, and your details are up to date so that customers can reach out to you. For our gold and above partners, if you have multiple office locations, you can list them all out and you'll get multiple listings. It's really important because, if you operate in Auckland and Christchurch, that's completely different customer bases. Someone in Christchurch would not look at an Auckland-based company necessarily. So really important to go in and do that maintenance and keep it all up to date. Resources to think about. Obviously, we've got 3CX's marketing kit, which is downloadable from your partner portal. The website keeps evolving and updating, so the pricing and product comparison pages are going to be updated continually. We'll see that new pricing appear later in August. They're updating their sales pages and their configuration guides all the time as these tweaks happen. Of course, we're here to help you. That's what we do as a 3CX distributor, been distributing 3CX for over 10 years, and we're here to help. Attend to these webinars. Your attendance is really, really appreciated. And we obviously record those and upload those. So even if you register and can't attend, you still get the information and the knowledge. It's really, really important to keep up to date. Okay, so as you heard, Anisha's just completed all of her technical certifications. She's now working through a lot of more of the training materials, and we will be announcing those Q3 dates very, very shortly. I know I've been saying that for a few weeks, but poor Anisha has been down with COVID and quite sick, so she's back on deck, and we're really happy that she's ramping up her training. Stay tuned to all our communications. Our VoIP monthly newsletter this month's went out yesterday. If you did not get a copy, reach out to us and I will sign you up. It's really important that you get that information. It's a really good record of what's happening. We have our weekly newsletter, so that's where events are always announced. So dates such as technical training dates will be announced there first. And if you're not a member of our LinkedIn Soft Solutions VoIP community group, you can join that via our VoIP monthly newsletter, or reach out and I can send you a link. I post everything first into that LinkedIn group because there's a lot of things happening and it's evolving all the time. So really, really important to stay up to date. And I do my best to get information to you as quickly as possible. But if you're ever in doubt, do reach out. And that brings us to the end. So thank you very much for your attendance with us today, and very happy to open the floor to questions that you may have on any of those upcoming changes. So I'll give you a minute. You've got your little question mark there. Feel free to start throwing questions at us. And I will do my best to answer those. And if I need to get any more information, I will obviously get that. There's still some evolving things happening with more information to come, as I mentioned. So I'll give everybody a quick second to see if they've got any questions. How'd you find that, Anisha? You're on mute, sweet.
Sorry, my apologies. That was lovely. Lots of new things coming, lots of updates.
Absolutely. Okay, Graham. Oh, Snom. It's going to Snow. Didn't know there was a phone called Snow. Is bringing the 3CX SBC onto some of their phones. In terms of what other brands are working on that, 3CX keep that information very close to their chest, Graham. We do not know. It's an exciting phase that they are thinking about putting that SBC on there. We're also working on some exciting things around SBCs that we will be announcing shortly. We will be bringing in dedicated units that are preloaded with 3CX for on-prem deployment, or they can be switched to SBC mode as well. So we will have those available very soon. But in terms of any other hardware, not that I'm specifically aware of. Obviously, we talk to Grandstream and Yealink a lot, but not sure at this stage. The roadmap around groups, that is all coming in update 5. They are starting to work on that. In update 6, we should see it. So what we know so far is that the groups information was initially around StartUP and StartUP Pro. But multi-tenancy is something that has been asked for since it was taken away about 5 years ago. So we expect to see more coming. They're working on, it's called MCN, I think, which is going to be the management tool of multi-tenancy. So we do expect to see more information, and when we get those betas, you'll be able to test it out on systems in-house. Just give everybody another minute in case there's any more questions. Okay, with the trunks on StartUP, we are working hard on that to get more options available for New Zealand. So keep watching this space. We expect supported SIP trunks to be made available for StartUP. They will restrict that to supported SIP trunks. You won't be able to BYO something that is not supported like you can do with a dedicated instance. And that's purely because they're managing everything at the back end. And in terms of hardware support, it's the free that doesn't allow that. The Pro will allow that, but obviously you'll need an SBC around that as well. Next, has the 1 year free for simultaneous call Pro Enterprise now gone? Yes, it has gone. They have removed that. I believe that has gone completely now. It was meant to finish in December, and it kept going and going and going. So now the free dedicated is the full simultaneous call standard license. You can still proof of concept upgrade those at the moment to Pro or Enterprise for the 45 days, but there are changes coming to that as well. Yes, the POC is all hidden. The other one we had the other day is customer querying where to release the FQDN. That is on the My Systems, and you have to use the little pencil to go inside the instance from your partner portal, and it actually says disconnect rather than release now. So that was just a wee tip that we came across with some support queries last week. So you're finding that the language is evolving in the partner portal, and we understand that that's going to change for the proof of concept as well. It'll have a more kind of user-friendly name that everybody with multiple languages will be able to understand nice and easily. Does it actually remove, as I tried removing some old duplicates and could still see in the legacy portal? Okay, so it doesn't remove the instance, it will release the FQDN. But if you have instances sitting in your partner portal that are no longer in use and you want to get rid of them, send the details through to Yilmaz. So just partners@3cx.com or yk@3cx.com, and he will be able to get those removed from your portal, because it is really confusing when there's extra licenses sitting there and they are legacy. So definitely reach out and they will assist you there. Okay, can 3CX app for Windows V18 work in a terminal server environment? Having the 3CX app for Windows V18 on the local PC and have it controlled by the 3CX app for Windows running on the terminal server. I'll have to get back to you on that, Miriam. I think the answer is yes, because I have that in the back of my mind, but as we all know, I'm not the technical guru. So I will take that question and I will present that to Anoop, who's our senior VoIP engineer, and we'll come back to you directly around that, Miriam. Okay, sorry, there's still more questions coming in, so just bear with me. Okay. We do a lot of the free standard for simultaneous calls. So does that mean we can no longer offer the free version of 3CX? We host these on-prem. So there is still a standard for simultaneous call free, but it'll be called dedicated free. It has still the limited standard feature set. We would obviously highly encourage everybody to be moving up to Pro on a dedicated license. The for simultaneous call is very affordable on the Pro, and you can host those on-prem. No problem at all, because then you don't need an SBC. The new units that I mentioned before come preloaded with 3CX dedicated, so you may want to look at those down the track, Carl. It's a little knack, and it's all preloaded, so it's going to save you some configuration time and that type of thing, or loading time as well. Or you host on Lightsail. Yep, a lot of people are using Lightsail so that you can control your hosting, so that's absolutely fine. TAPI support, I will double check on that, Miriam. I thought that was all back and sorted, a couple of updates about, but I'll double check on that and I'll come back to you. You're most welcome to those saying thank you. We really appreciate it. So there's a couple of queries there that I will come back around directly to the people. If you have any queries, please feel free to reach out to us on voip@sofsol.co.nz, or if it's a specific support query, VoIP support@sofsol.co.nz, and we will definitely come back to you around those. You will get a recording of this webinar. It'll be sent out automatically tomorrow. Plus we'll upload it to YouTube. Refer to the latest VoIP newsletter that went out yesterday. It's got all of this information in there as well. We'd definitely be happy to help with more queries that you may have, and we'll keep updating you as things evolve. I'm not sharing any of the information that I've got may be happening because things keep changing and it just gets confusing. So I will share information as it becomes confirmed, and we'll get that out to you as quickly as possible. Expect the VoIP update in August probably to be quite early in the month, because those changes are happening around about the 10th of August is the date that we have heard. So I think I have managed to answer all of the questions. I will go through them in the report and double check. But thank you again, everybody, for joining us. And I hope to see you on our webinars next month. And Anisha will be getting up to speed, and we will add all those dates and everything in for you as well. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks again.